Stream is live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Duffy. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah,
It's been a while since we've done this.
Yeah, we haven't done Smash in too long. I'm happy that we're going to be.
Me too.
All right. We only have one, correct? I didn't see any other Smash VODs.
Yes, I believe it's just the one from Jacob Bobson.
Cool. Alrighty. Got that video pulled up here. Let's take a look at. Let's make this bigger so I can see, and let's share my screen with you. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Right. We got notes. Bobson. E-Brawler. Last seen 2/17/23. While ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Alright, let's pull up notes. Okay. Some of this. Okay, we were playing against Ness. Some of this is Ness specific. Do we know what our matchup is now?
It's either going to be Lucas or Diddy Kong.
Okay.
Not sure which one.
Some of the Lucas will apply. So, okay.
It's Diddy Kong. Okay.
Okay, so we're not going to get too much into, obviously, the Ness stuff. Some DIs relevant probably in more than a few matches. I'm remembering now that we saw a lot of attempts to connect when you didn't attempt to connect, like with shot put, you were throwing a second one, just kind of like frustration almost. So we're going to be taking a look at that. Yeah. Any other things you're kind of focused on, Duffy, as we go into it?
Yeah, I was talking to Bobson the other day, and I was just asking him, what do you think your areas to improve are? And he was talking about timing his punishes correctly. So he'll kind of recognize a situation and like have the right answer to the situation, like locked and loaded, but he will either execute too early or too late, or just, it's kind of just like a little off on his timing.
Sure.
So I kind of want to look at how he's timing his punishes. And then also getting out of disadvantage. So when he gets off stage or in the air against his opponent, he feels like he has a lot of room for improvement there.
Okay.
So we're going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at those things in particular.
Just getting that stuff down ahead of time so we make sure we come back to them.
Okay.
All right, let's get into VOD. Two, one, go!
So as you can already tell, this matchup is really scrappy
Yeah.
because they both have really similar ranges, and neither of them have like any meaningful disjoints. So it's going to be a lot of like trading back and forth like this.
Yep. One note, Bobson did put a note in the submission. Their opponent didn't have the correct
Oh yeah.
controller scheme, so some of those SDs were just SDs by accident. So,
Okay. Yeah. We'll keep that in mind.
yep. Oh,
Oh, that's a good idea.
Whoops. Yeah, another one. Oh, he got it.
Another SD.
Yep.
Yeah, so far this has been pretty good from Bobson. There was one instance where he had a falling upper that could confirm into something, but he kind of just waited because I think he wasn't sure if the up air was going to connect.
Yep.
So I think that's fine. You know, it's good to recognize when you're not sure if something's going to connect and then just wait to see what the opponent does rather than just assuming your move is going to connect.
Yeah.
We also haven't seen a lot of banana play yet from Mook.
Yeah.
Wow, another SD. That's rough. Um, that's a huge part of Diddy Kong's gameplay. I expect we'll see more of that in
Yeah, once they
game
fix that
2 once he
controller
has
scheme,
his
hopefully
controls.
we'll see a better matchup. Not that Bobson
Yeah,
didn't play it really well, but you know.
yeah, of course. You might need to skip a
Like a while here.
well, like 20 seconds
Yeah,
if you can.
we can just go through these. This is our only
Okay.
review for the day, so we're not pressed for time.
Okay. As far as disadvantage goes, there wasn't a whole lot to look at there. The only kind of disadvantage Bobson was in was off stage, and he recovered really aggressively high above the ledge most of the time, but he wasn't getting punished for it. So, you know, it's one of those things where like, yeah, you did it every time, but they weren't giving you a reason not to do it.
Yeah.
So, we'll see if Mook like starts to punish that, and if he does, like, we'll see how Bobson responds. Okay, so that second burning dropkick
Yep.
was just a little overzealous. You know, the second one connected, and then he was like on stage, I think. So there wasn't really any reason to go for the second one. Actually, do you mind rewinding to the oh my gosh, what an early stock.
Yeah, it's rough.
I think I wanna kind of rewatch that first stock because
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out where Bobson took so much damage so quickly. So it kind of just seems like out of nowhere he was at like 150.
Right.
All right, so one thing I want to point out at those first like couple of interactions, if you could like back up to the very opening.
Yep.
Um, so right out the gate, Bobson opens with a burning dropkick, which super crazy aggressive opening, but it's pretty safe. But then if you could just like back it up like 5 seconds, I don't know, maybe with the arrow keys. I know you can use like left and right, just do like 5 seconds at
I
a
don't
time.
have arrow keys.
Oh, you don't have arrow keys.
No.
Okay, never mind.
60% keyboard.
Okay, okay. So let's see. Yeah, so it just seems like a lot of buttons are being pressed without being super aware of where the opponent actually is.
Yep.
So he whiffed the burning drop kick. Mook crossed up his shield with a dash attack. Um, and Bobson, not realizing there was a cross up, went for a shield grab. And then after realizing that he's grabbing the wrong direction, he kind of just immediately rips the up B in the opposite direction. But that's where Mook was a second ago, but he's now in a different place. He had already rolled to the other side. Um, so it just kind of feels like a lot of not preemptive, but going for punishes that aren't like really there.
Mhm.
Um, so I think Bobson just needs to take a second, and when you're in that like really close quarters range where like nothing is really reactable on startup, like you can really only react to the end of moves. Um, you it's generally better to either wait or go for like an option that's like disengaging the situation because it's kind of like a roll of the dice when you're just like in that super close quarters range.
Right. I also think just from a manner of positioning, like the opening being aggressive is good, but like not resetting and trying to get back to center early. Like after he missed that burning kick, and then now he's just kind of playing over here. And I feel like because of that start aggression, you're like immediately like, I really got to make hits. Like I gotta, I gotta do something over here. Like because you're out in this position kind of to begin with. Whereas like you could do that and then try to reset back to middle.
Yeah, yeah, it was just a lot of buttons being pressed, and I feel like they weren't really in response to what the opponent was doing. It was just like, I just really want to throw out hitboxes to hit you.
Right.
And let's see where all this damage comes from. There was another small example there when Mook was center stage and Bobson was on the left platform. Um, Mook was actionable, so he wasn't in the end lag of anything. And Bobson went for a runoff neutral air. And it's such a common thing to want to just run off the platform and come down with an aerial that like most people are ready for that, and they will position themselves to punish people for running off the platform with an aerial. And that's exactly what Mook did. He put himself where Bobson could run off and nair him, but then as soon as Bobson did that, Mook ran out of the way and then dashed back in and punished with a grab. So it was just an instance of Bobson swinging where Mook is instead of swinging where Mook is going to be. Um, so that's kind of a tricky concept because of course you never know where the opponent is going to be, but sometimes you kind of have to like guess at where
Yep.
they're going to be rather than just swinging where they are because most of the time like they're not really going to stand in the same spot for very long. Okay, so now he's kind of getting punished for recovering high every time. Now I see where the damage is coming from. Okay, yeah. That's something Diddy Kong will get you for every time. If you are playing at the wrong range where you're, if you could pause it for just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There's a certain range where Diddy Kong can just very easily punish you with banana. If Diddy Kong is holding a banana, you need to be super cognizant of basically every attack you throw out. Generally speaking, you don't want to be throwing out a lot of aerials, um, unless they're like pretty safe on shield. I think banana throw out of shield is like frame 7. So for Bobson, that means pretty much just neutral air. Um, Neutral air on shield is pretty safe. But in that instance, his spacing was pretty off. He was kind of just naring outside of his effective range,
Yep.
and that was just a super easy uh, banana toss into forward smash. So when Diddy Kong has banana, you kind of just have to play really passive, and what you want him to do is get rid of the banana. So you want to try to like kind of bait him into throwing it, which means like standing just at the maximum range where he can throw it. If you can kind of like visualize in your mind how far Diddy can throw banana, you kind of want to try to stay around that range and make it look like you could get hit by banana to entice him to throw it, but be evasive enough to stay out of the way.
Still be able to dodge it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah, the last thing you want to do is be just throwing out moves just because it's a super easy punish for Diddy Kong with banana.
I missed the second one. Yep. Oh, got spiked. Okay.
Yeah, so double jumping above the ledge there. Super risky. It would have been better to just up B right away. Um, yeah, really no reason to double jump there.
All right.
There was another example there where Bobson hit the neutral air,
Mm-hmm.
and the thing about Smash is like it can be pretty hard to hit confirm, uh, because moves happen so quickly. So when Bobson hits this neutral air, right,
Here.
coming up,
Right about here.
or somewhere right around here, pretty soon,
There we go.
right here. Okay, so I think Bobson was expecting Mook to be able to shield that nair, and that's why he went for an up tilt afterwards. Um, but he wasn't shielding. He got hit by it. So if Bobson was preparing for the nair to hit, he could have followed it up with a different follow up. I'm not sure exactly what the best follow up is there, but um, it's definitely not up tilt.
Yep.
It's probably like a dash forward, maybe down smash to cover the tech options, but it definitely sets up like a tech chase situation. So I feel like if you're throwing out Nair when they're at this percent, like that's kind of what you should be looking for primarily. It's like, okay, I know Nair sends at this low angle. So when I'm throwing it out when they're at high percent, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for them to get hit by it and send it at a low angle and go for a tech chase. Um, like I said though, it is hard to react to whether something actually hits the opponent or hits their shield.
Yep.
So I can't like say it's really all on Bobson because sometimes you're just unsure. Um, but I think if you're unsure about something, whether it's hitting or not, I think generally it's probably better to just wait and see what the opponent does rather than immediately commit to another button.
Sure.
So he was unsure if the Nair was gonna hit Diddy Kong or hit Diddy Kong's shield. So instead of up tilting in that situation, you could just hold shield or maybe dash back or something a little less committal. It didn't really cost him in the end here. Still got the stock. But if you can leave your options open a little more after you're unsure of something, then you can just react to the situation at hand and respond to it accordingly rather than like immediately trying to start more offensive pressure.
Right. Not necessarily playing fully rush down, but rather like getting hits in, reading the opponent a little bit further.
Yeah, because Rushdown and Smash is like you have to be a lot more reactive and aware of the opponent's defensive habits. It's not like traditional fighting games where like once you're in and you can just keep pressing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Because shield is such a powerful mechanic in Smash where you have out of shield options and like most moves are minus on shield, meaning the defender gets to act first.
Yep.
So it pays to be a little more patient even when you're playing Rushdown and to just try to observe your opponent. I like that.
Yep.
Um, Jumping forwards and then recognizing that Diddy Kong is recovering high. So, I mean, that was a good awareness of the situation.
Nice.
Okay. Okay.
I don't hate that
I'm
play
not
though.
sure what's that?
I don't hate that play though.
No,
That
I,
like last up B.
yeah, I kind of feel like that should have connected, but I'm not sure. That could have been an execution error on Bobson's part.
Yep.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that like barely missed.
Yeah, so could be worth going into the training room to just iron that out. Um, I know Diddy Kong can be a little bit harder to combo sometimes because he has a slightly faster air dodge than a lot of characters.
Yep.
So your combos definitely have to be like pretty airtight. But as far as disadvantage goes, I think we saw Bobson getting punished for recovering high more often.
Yep.
I didn't really see him go to ledge that often, to be honest. Yep, recovering high gets punished.
Yep.
Got it. And like even if he doesn't get like punished by getting hit for recovering high, he's usually stuck in shield, and like, you know, Mook has like the advantage
Yeah, just
regardless.
behind in general, you can't really capitalize off what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Was that an up B or is that the double jump again?
That was up B, but he up B past the ledge,
Yeah.
instead of just grabbing the ledge with it. Okay. I mean, so far this is a solid stock. Yeah, good stuff. Do you actually mind backing it up? I kind of want to see that second stock again.
Sure.
See why it was so much better than the other ones we've been seeing. I like this range that Bobson is playing at. It's like just outside of Diddy Kong's effective range. He's not overcommitting, like
Playing holder,
getting too close to him.
holding center stage, keeping a little bit of range, playing slower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Covered high again.
Yeah, although that time he did grab ledge, which
Sure.
he hasn't been doing a lot of. That was crazy. That was just goofy.
Close.
Yeah.
Banana.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that like barely killed.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, it was really just his disadvantage state that caused him to lose that game, where it was really just recovering high every time. You know, Bobson was playing well, and then as soon as Mook got just a little bit of momentum, uh, it seemed like Bobson was just like way too eager to get back on stage as soon as possible and like with a hitbox. But Diddy Kong is so good at whiff punishing anything with even just a little bit of lag, because of Banana and just his speed in general.
Yep.
So it really pays to just grab ledge because you have intangibility and be patient and to just wait and see what the opponent is trying to do. Um, and for the most part, if you're going to be swinging out of the corner, like swinging to get out of disadvantage, you don't want to be doing it with like really laggy moves. Like it should be like really quick moves like a jab or a nair, but I would say most of the time if you're in disadvantage, you just want to get away from the opponent and make some space. Um and most of the time that means literally just running away, like just using your movement to make space between you and your opponent.
Right.
Um Sometimes that means fighting out of the corner with hitboxes and like, you know, you definitely need to do that too. But in Bobson's case, I feel like he's swinging every time and with very punishable moves. Like if you rewind just probably like, I don't know, 20 seconds,
Yep.
we'll probably see a few instances of that. Like I think this last stock is worth looking at again.
Yeah.
Like we'll see when.
I'll go all the way back to the start of this stock, basically.
Okay. See that was great patience there. He had a hit, but it wasn't going to confirm into something, so we just waited to see what move did,
Yep.
and then got more damage off of it. See that, like, I think that's Mach Punch coming from the ledge, and then again just flip kicking onto stage, burning kick onto stage.
Yep.
Yeah, if you have any amount of lag when getting onto stage, Diddy Kong is going to punish it every time because he has banana, he has flip kick, he has his tilts. Um, so yeah, it was just like what I've said before. It really pays to be patient in these situations, and grabbing ledge is the best thing.
Yep.
Um, I feel like I'm trying to like think from Bobson's perspective, like why he wants to recover high so much, and I think it's probably because uh Me Brawler's up B doesn't go very high,
Yep.
so it feels pretty unsafe to go low, but you do have to go to ledge sometimes, or you know when going to ledge is the mix up and not like the normal thing that you're doing, it's like it's pretty easy to cover your recovery when you're just going high every time.
True. Okay. Let's get some notes down. Oh, I just now realizing that I was like fully covering Bobson's face the entire time with my black mage. Sorry, Bobson.
Oh no. Whoops.
Okay, matchup with Diddy. I think the one thing that we kind of called out most specifically is playing at range with Banana. Out
Yep.
of range, rather. That's definitely one of the biggest ones. Any other specific Diddy matchup stuff that you want to talk about?
Um yeah, I mean the only other thing there is a flip kick. It's a crazy move. We didn't see a lot of it in this set. But there were a few times where Bobson was just kind of caught off guard by flip kick.
Yep.
It's just something you have to be ready for. You can't. It is reactable. You just have to be ready for it. If you're playing, it's it's kind of a similar range to banana. It's a little bit longer than banana. But yeah, if you kind of are staying at that range, you can definitely react to it.
Okay. Disadvantage play. Um, do we just want to kind of fill out this one thing that we were kind of taking a specific look at with disadvantage, specifically about recovering too high?
Yeah. I think it's fine to recover high every once in a while. Especially if you play like a gimpable character.
Yep.
Um, but it should be a mix up. And even if you're not recovering like super low, you should be going to ledge more often than not.
Yeah. As far as timings go, that was another thing that you wanted to take a specific look at. I mean, I think we saw some of the better stocks there were because he was slowing down, he was getting to center stage, he was reacting to Diddy as opposed to just trying to fight in chaos, which like is what this matchup looks like most of the time. But just generally
Yeah.
slowing things down um, and reading.
Yeah, if you're looking at the points where like the places in the match where Bobson was like gaining a lead and like had momentum, it's where he lands a hit, maybe gets his like two-piece combo or whatever, and then waits to see what Mook does.
Yeah,
Um, and then reacts accordingly. Um, and then that leads to another situation where you can wait and react to see what they do after you hit them. I think that's probably the biggest lesson like moving forward is to pay more attention to what the opponent is doing and not just like embracing the chaos of just like throwing out hitboxes
right. Just
and
read a little bit more.
yeah.
Okay. Anything specific for me, brawler?
um I think I want to say there's a few instances where Bobson could have capitalized on some stray hits a little better. And I think it's because he's pressing so many buttons that he's like it doesn't feel like he's ready to capitalize on the stray hits when they finally do connect.
Sure.
Um so I think it can be really easy to get into the rhythm of just like swinging, attack, attack, attack. And then when an attack finally does land, you're still in the rhythm of like throwing out moves for the sake of it. And then you like miss your opportunity to capitalize on the one that actually hit the opponent.
Right.
So it's like every single time you throw out an attack, unless it's just for the sake of like mind games, like showing your opponent that you could go for this, it should be for the intent of like, okay, let's see if this hits. Did it hit? Yes, no. Okay, if it didn't hit, let me reposition and try again. And so it's like every time you throw out a move, you should be asking yourself, okay, like, is this going to hit or like, did this hit?
Yeah,
And then, sorry, go ahead.
I think that there's a good way to kind of think about this. You talk a lot about in other games, kind of like flow charting how things work, and it's super difficult and to actually flowchart like what to do in any given situation because things are so complex, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it feels like you're trying to say like, let's pretend that Bobson has this flowchart fully fleshed out, right? It feels like in these fights, Bobson is thinking in his head, okay, I'm going to flowchart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but isn't stopping at one and recognizing whether or not this thing happened or this thing happens. Let's say that like flowchart step A is like, side B. Did it connect or did it not connect? It feels like he is kind of moving through and saying like, I got to go to step two regardless of what happens in step one. Instead of saying like,
Yes.
let's go to step one in the flowchart, figure out what happens, and then move through it from there.
Yes, I think that's definitely a good way to think about it. Yeah.
So yeah, I think just generally like flowchart, you can do this in your own mind or literally on paper, just like flowchart how you want things to go. If you connect with one thing, what are your next steps? If you don't connect it with it, what is your particular plan? Is it back off and reset, try to get to center? Is it push forward with another attack? Like, and this will be all matchup dependent, and it's all too complex for us to actually do a full out flowchart for you, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
not expecting that step two and step three are a given, and instead trying to read the scenario after step one.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for crystallizing that bit for me.
Sure, yeah, no, that I mean that's something that we see in a lot of our games, right? And a lot of our reviews, so it's kind of something that can just be applied to everything. When you get too far ahead of yourself, like a lot of the times when you're spamming moves, it's because you're not really thinking about what moves you want to hit. You're just throwing moves out. That happens in Valorant a ton for particularly low elo players. Like they are freaking out when they see an enemy walk in front of them, right? where if they just stayed calm, they would just shoot them calmly and easily. It happens in the same, I think, in fighting games where everybody is just like, okay, well, I'm near them, I gotta smash buttons, um, instead of taking your time thinking about it and then going forward.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's it. We just got one today. Hopefully, y'all will get some more recordings done, and we can see some more gameplay.
Yeah. I think I'll be encouraging. Well, I have been encouraging this week people to submit more VODs. So yeah, hope to do this more soon.
Cool. Sounds good. I am going to drop these notes in for Bobson. I'm gonna ping him and let him know that they're there, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, I might be trying to, just in the event that anybody is watching, I can't actually see. Um, I am probably going to try to catch up on the other VOD reviews either today or early next week. We've been super busy, and we're hosting a high school tournament tomorrow, so we've been prepping for that. We went to Boston on Wednesday for an extremely long day, so things just putting us behind, but good things, fun things. And next weekend, Duffy, I want to remind you, we do have that Smash tournament on Saturday for high schools.
That's
If
right. Yeah.
you can attend, that would be cool. We should have, I think it's 14 or 15, 14 or 15 high schools coming. Um, so it'll be quite a few players, which will be pretty cool. We get to see kind of what's happening and get the high schools to start putting some teams together, hopefully going to locals and coming to our tournaments as well.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one. I'll definitely be there.
Cool. Alrighty. Well, thank you for helping me run review. I will see you soon, if not next Saturday. And everybody else, thank you for watching.
All right. Thanks. See ya.